Internet, this is Noel and welcome to my little corner of YouTube. Now the headphones I'm going to be looking at today are probably the most polarizing pair of headphones around. Opinions range from them being the best headphones that you've ever heard to them being absolute garbage. Once the darling of Reddit and YouTube, they've somewhat fallen out of favour of late, and sure, they're absolutely flawed, but that doesn't mean that they're not also absolutely fantastic. They're the Audio-Technica Ath-M50x. Okay, so this is my personal pair of M50Xs. I've had them for around 4 or 5 years, and they've held up pretty well. They have developed a bit of a creak, and the hinges are nowhere near as stiff as they once were, and they just seem to just collapse quite easy now. And over the years, I've acquired much nicer headphones. And a few years ago, you couldn't read any headphone thread on Reddit without seeing somebody recommending these. And it seemed like every YouTuber was making videos about these, telling everyone how great they were. And they weren't wrong. And more recently, there have been more opinions popping up that actually, the M50X aren't as good as you think they are. They're not wrong either. And then we have a few loud voices whose opinions are, no, they are garbage, get them away from me. Now some of those negative opinions probably come from a lack of understanding about what these headphones actually are, and some of them are pretty on the money. And as flawed as these headphones are, that doesn't stop them having a place in my heart and a place on my headphone hooks. And they're sure to go down in history as one of the classics. Let's just take a look at the spec for a moment. So they have 45mm drivers, they have a frequency response of 15Hz to 28 kHz, they have an impedance of 38 ohms, and a sensitivity of 99 decibels. Build-wise, they have 90-degree swiveling ear cups. The headband is reasonably padded. It's not the thickest and most comfortable padding there is, but it's there and it does an okay job. More on that in a bit. They're almost entirely made out of plastic, except for the headband adjuster and the metal ring around the ear cup. They come supplied with 3 different cables. So you have a 1.2 meter straight cable, a 3 meter straight cable, and a 3 meter coil cable, which is my personal favorite. They weigh 285 grams, and other accessories they come with are a leather carrying pouch, and they have a screw-on 1/4-inch adapter. The ear pads are reasonably padded. They're not particularly deep. They don't have any memory foam or anything like that. They're just okay. Now actually, when I first got these headphones, I found them extremely uncomfortable past 20 minutes. I previously said that the HD 4.50, the Sennheiser HD 4.50s were the single most uncomfortable pairs of headphones that I'd ever worn. However, these have got to be a close second. Now, out of the box, the clamping force was extremely bad, and I spent quite a considerable amount of time stretching them out in order to make them more comfortable. The earpads themselves are not especially large, especially if you're used to Sennheisers and Beyerdynamics with their big open ear cups. These ones are quite small. To some people, these would be on ears. I can just about get my ears in these, but I do get some pressure discomfort after a while, and part of that is due to the fact that the ear pads themselves are not particularly deep, and the foam is just basic foam. There's no memory foam there. Now, over the years, this foam has worn down quite a bit, so the comfort has taken a hit. But actually, the pleather on these ear cups has held up remarkably well. Now, I used to carry these around in my bag all the time, sometimes in their pouch, sometimes just loose. And they've taken a beating over the years, and they're still going strong. The pleather hasn't flaked off anywhere, they've been remarkably resistant to scuffs and cuts and scratches, and despite them being made almost entirely of plastic, I think these are really, really durable. Now the hinges themselves are a bit of a weak point, and these ones have developed like squeaks and creaks, and even when I'm wearing them, just me moving my head, I can hear them creak and whatnot. I've been considering putting a little drop of mineral oil or like bike chain oil or maybe even some olive oil into the hinges to see if that would help. But I really don't wear these so much anymore, so I've not been all that motivated to try. The headband is very adjustable. You have quite a large range of adjustability in the headband. The adjustments are reinforced with metal. There are lines so you can see how far they've been adjusted, and they do have a ratchet notch kind of effect to them. Also, the headband is not especially the most comfortable headband. It does feel fairly padded, and while they're not the heaviest headphones around, I still felt that the pressure on top of my head would get a bit too much after a little while. They're able to fold flat like this, and they also fold up for portability like so. And also the headphone cable, as previously mentioned, is removable, and it does have a twist to lock feature in a very similar way to the Sennheiser headphone. So that's about it for build and comfort. So let's take a look at their sound. While they have pretty good imaging, the soundstage is really closed in. It feels like they're right on your ears, and that can feel a little bit claustrophobic. Bass is fast and tight, low bass is emphasized but not by too much, and there's a bit of a rise in the upper bass. The mid-range is fairly flat, with a slight dip in the low-mid somewhere around 300 Hz, but I think it's the treble that's the weak point with these headphones. So treble performance is quite uneven. There's a small peak around 4.5K, then there's a dip all the way down at 6K, and then it spikes up again at around 10K to about 5 dB above neutral, and that can make these quite fatiguing to listen to if you're quite treble sensitive. So some people have described them as V-shaped, and I suppose that's kind of right, because they have a slightly emphasized bass, slightly emphasized treble, and a rather neutral mids. I'd say they were more U-shaped than V-shaped, but overall I really enjoy listening to music on these headphones. Alternative rock, metal, EDM, they're all served well by these headphones. And whilst I don't think they do anything so bad as to be offensive, that uneven treble response can be problematic for long listens. I do find that actually I fatigue much quicker wearing these than I do some of my other headphones. What we have here then is a headphone with above average sound quality, above average build quality, and an acceptable comfort level. And you can see why they're loved by so many people. So why do they also get so much hate? Well, that's a difficult one. I've seen people saying that they're too bassy, some people saying they're not bassy enough. Many people point out the uneven treble and there's issues with comfort, and that is a good reason to dislike these headphones. But I don't understand why these headphones get so much hate. Perhaps it's the lack of any soundstage to speak of, but that's a criticism that can be levelled at many different closed-back headphones, not just these. I've seen many comments about criticising the idea that these are studio headphones and saying that they would never see these anywhere near a studio and a professional would never use them. And again, that's not true. These are studio monitoring headphones, not reference headphones. They're meant for monitoring audio, not mixing and mastering. But you could wear these whilst you're creating music, you could wear these while you're tracking, you could wear these when you're trying to monitor levels for live sound. They have many professional uses, which is why they are seen in many studios. But for me, the biggest reason why you might want to skip these is not because of the failings of these headphones, but because these exist. Now, when it comes to a studio headphone, the DT770 can do everything that the M50X can do, and it can do them better. They sound better, they're more comfortable, they have better soundstage, and they're cheaper. There is no real reason to buy the M50X when the DT770 exists, except for one thing. They're extremely portable. Now, it's easy to understand why the Reddit hype train went so crazy for these headphones a few years ago. They do provide an above average sound quality and above average build quality for a pair of headphones of this price range. Now, in this price range, you did have headphones like the HD558s and the DT770 Pros, but none of them were portable. You couldn't just fold them up and throw them in your bag and carry them with you everywhere. And sometimes the hype train is just that, it's just hype. But with the M50Xs, I believe that hype train was justified. Now, over the past few years, portable headphones like this have started to go out of fashion, and people are now buying Bluetooth wireless active noise cancelling headphones instead. And that could be why the balance of opinion on these headphones has started to tilt more towards the negative in recent years. But I maintain that these are still some of the best portable wired headphones that you can buy in their price range. So that's going to be it then. What do you think of the Audio-Technica AT-M50X? Let me know down in the comments. And if you like this and want to see more of it, give me the thumbs up and subscribe. I'll have more content like this soon. And until next time, have a good one.